Nithyananda. So a very, very warm welcome to all of you, parents to be, teachers, acharyas from different parts of the world to join, conducted by Nithyananda and myself. I'm just going to recap what we did in the last session and then sort of highlight the topic for this session. So last session, we talk about how to do completion with kids. How is it different from adults and all that? So I think it was a very, very interesting session where I think many of you felt that it was useful because I think a lot of parents didn't know how to do completion with the kids. So in this session, I'm actually going to look at the kids' possibility. Okay, so the topic for today's enlightened parenting is how to discover the different talents in your child. Do you know how to get into the learner space as a parent or teacher and connect with the learner? Okay, so that's the session is going to basically entail. So first thing, I want to sort of get to the important right understanding about what is a learner space. Okay, so see, Swamiji says that all the kids, every child is a possibility. Understand? It's a huge possibility. If we do not create certain conditioning or incompletion in them, they are a huge possibility because they are established in the space of completion, which means they are radiating the pure awareness, and we're constant downloading of, information is possible. And you should know that it's not true that certain kids are good in certain things or some kids are good in certain things. They are all good in anything they want. They are interested. Understand? So it's not true that, oh, this child is good in maths, this child is good in language, all that. If the child is interested, they can be good in everything. Understand? It is a question of conditioning. We condition the child, oh, you are a girl, you're better off doing this kind of activity. You're a boy, go and play competitive sports and all that. So by and by, we confine their possibility. Understand? So it's very important as a parent and as a teacher, we should allow the kids to explore at a very young age. Don't create that limitation. Don't create the idea that restrict their possibility or their expansion. Okay, so that's the first thing. See, before age of 7, if you have listened to the past session, we know that before age of 7, what they experience is their reality. What the kids experience is their reality. Okay, so their performance and learning will be a lot more, I would say, many times more. If, let's say, for a kid which is much older, okay? And because, tell honestly, the kids when they're in their pure space, they are the most easiest, people to teach. It is only when they start to have virus, inflicted with virus of boredom, virus of impossibility, virus of likes and dislikes, all that start coming into, their, the way they perceive life and themselves. that's where they start to have this limited idea about their possibility. Understand? So it's very important as a parent, because you're the closest to the child at a very young age. The parents are the two most important beings, when a child is at a very young age, right? Till they go to school, where the teachers then also become another layer of people who will help to sort of teach the kids and influence the kids' learning experiences. But the parents, the very important thing is parents not to have your ideas of possibility imposed on them. Okay? See, like many of us, let's say when we grew up, the way how we were brought up by our parents, we may be given certain wrong ideas about us. Let's say how we handle failures, how we basically did not live the dreams we always wanted. So sometimes some parents, they impose their dreams on their kids. So that's not what a parent should do. A parent should always create a space of possibility, hold the space of possibility for the child to discover, flower into, a genius. By you interfering in that process, they are all not going to first, develop their true potential. Second, sometimes you will be sort of met with a lot of resistance, because it may not be what the child liked or want, okay, in their life. So because I see at a young age, the kids will be very, very easy to sort of mold. They would listen to you. But after a certain age, that's where they start to say no. They have their own idea of what they want to do. And that's where, as a parent, even as a teacher, we need to learn how to get into the learner's space, okay? So basically, see, in the child, in the pure space, they are just an extraordinary learner. That means they can pick up things very quickly. If the teacher is able to guide the child into that learner's world, that means a teacher needs to discover the space of the teacher is what we need to know to how to get into the learner's space and guide that child to start to explore, to start to be inspired, to start to see the possibility in them. Understand? See, the talents in kids means what? Kids are like mirrors. They can pick up things easily. So a child should know at least 108 talents and performing them. We should let them try, because see, the brain gets bored if we make them do the same thing again and again, or we don't stimulate their mind and their energy. Also, they can learn anything. It all depends on the teachers. If you are able to find a good teacher, okay, who's constantly inspired, constantly able to bring the best in the kids, that will make a lot of difference in the child's learning experience. The main thing is, as parents, when you go out and find teachers to teach your kids, make sure that the teachers, are constantly inspired, constantly passionate about something. Understand? Don't go to teachers who are teaching the same thing again and again for the last 10, 20 years. Understand? The teacher must be passionate about what they're doing, very inspirational. Then you will see the child getting, excited, because then the kind of teacher will be able to create, the learning space for the learner in the child to come out and express and explore about their possibility. Understand? Okay. The teacher space, or see, a parent is the first teacher to the kid, to be honest with you, if you look at it from that context. Understand? Before the child go to the formal school, the parents are the teacher. Not only just the protector, the provider, the parents are also the teachers. So imagine you have a young kid before they go to, nursery, or before they go to primary education. The kids will be spending a lot of time with you. And you, as a parent, if you're able to inspire and create that learner space in the kid. See, the learner space is that of openness. See, openness should be taught and encouraged. Not like a professional way that you go outside and learn, but to be able to create like a playground for the child to explore. It's a space. You remember in the earlier session, I said the kids relate to space, not verbalization, not so much on words. Understand? Before the age of 7, the questioning doesn't start. They are just relating with your pure space. Only after age of 7, when language is introduced, then the questioning start to happen. So in the first 7 years of the age, if you are able to create a very, very inspiring, open space for the kids to explore, the kids will not only be extremely creative, but they will also be highly intelligent because they are allowed to explore the different dimension in them. Even that can be taught during the pregnancy time. See, in the Vedic tradition, the preparation to bring a being to the planet Earth starts even before the conception. Before, the conception of the child. That means both husband and wife would have started preparing themselves for the pregnancy to happen. Understand? Once the pregnancy happens, the mothers goes through 9 months of huge expansion, not just physically, but expansion in terms of consciousness, because during that time, she's closest to the creation. She's in the process of creation. Like Shakti, Devi, she's creating a life within her. Understand? So if she's able to fundamentally, during that pregnancy time, start to even teach the kids, the child which is inside her, you will become part of the child's biomemory. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, like for instance, Prahalada, the child saint who, when the mother was pregnant, she was living in the ashram and she had a lot of exposure to scriptures, worship and all that. So by the time the child came out, the child, Prahalada, was actually a devotee, a highly evolved soul who's a great devotee of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. Okay? So that is possible if we start to basically work on the biomemory of the child during pregnancy. Okay? So that's possible. I think in Swamiji's Adinam, there is a program called Enlightened Pregnancy, where parents are prepared to receive, the landing of a very intelligent soul. Okay, so the whole science is there. There is a science to prepare intelligent soul or near enlightened soul landing in the physical plane on the planet Earth. That is enlightened parenting. Okay. So it's so fascinating, you know, in Vedic tradition, we have signs for landing, like the cosmic airport for the landing of the intelligent soul. We also have the graceful exit, how the soul to exit this planet Earth gracefully. So in Vedic tradition, we have all the different sciences which really, you know, create a lot of possibility for all of us to experience. Okay. So now, let me just continue with what I say a child is a great possibility. Okay. See, a child can learn 250 ships of data. Do you know? 250 ships. I don't mean small ships, big ships, okay? Of data. They are capable of handling that. But when we start to tell them, oh, this is too much, you need to rest, this is too much, this is where you start to restrict their possibility. When they are told that, you know, when they have a belief that they can only handle that much versus 250 ships of information, they will have, you know, start to shrink in terms of their possibility. Understand? So as a parent, do not impose any restriction or impossibility because you did not have that idea of what your child was filled with a lot of impossibility. Do not pass that legacy to your child. Understand? Give them the space to explore, because as a parent, your role is to hold the space of possibility for them, such that you know your child is a possibility to cause new reality, a new being on planet Earth, a new species on planet Earth. So the trust you have in that possibility is the key for your child to start to flower into a huge possibility of talents, intelligence, creativity. Understand? Now, let me just get back to the talents. Okay? Understand that when we assume the body, every soul assume the body, they already come down with certain bio memory, certain gifts to fulfill their life purpose in this birth. Okay? So one of the things that as a parent we need to guide the kids is to explore their passion and their creativity. The earlier you're able to connect them to their passion and creativity, a lot of your, I would say 50% of your effort is done. Because they will constantly, if it is truly their passion, they'll be constantly inspired. They know how to inspire themselves. They will know how to, you know, work on the different dimension of their passion, inject creativity. So pretty much they will be able to start exploring, start the adventure in life. It is only when they don't know, they're lost. So they start to get bored, or they start to play with things which may not be what they truly passionate about. That means they're going through life with, you know, a lot of trial and error, and sometimes even by very late age, late life stage, they still cannot find what is their life purpose and their passion, which means what they literally kind of wasted the life for a large part of the, you know, the young days. And by the time if they ever discover, you'll be very late, or if sometimes they never really discover, they actually been given by what society wants, and they just work on what fitting into what society's expectation or the norm of to survive in life, which means whatever the child comes down to fulfill did not happen. And you can imagine, because all being, we have to understand what is our life purpose. If you don't find out your life purpose and start living it, you can never experience fulfillment. The fulfillment will not be experienced if you are not living your life purpose. Okay, so that is very important. Find out the life purpose. As a parent, you also need to find out your life purpose so that you can inspire the kid. So let me just continue with a child without meeting the guru, master, comes down with certain biomemory or software. Okay, certain software to function. And if the child explore and work on aligning to the life purpose, he or she may discover, the talent and the creativity and the energy to fulfill that life purpose. However, if the child has the fortune or the blessing to meet an enlightened master, a guru, an incarnation like Swamiji, I can tell you, not only the guru will awaken all the past birth biomemory, but also upgrade his biomemory, his software, so that he can fulfill his life purpose. Understand? That is the beauty of having an enlightened guru as a master to guide your child at a very young age. I'd like to share, my personal experience in this front, how my son, who's 16 years old, before meeting Swamiji, and now that Swamiji is, having initiated him through, various programs that he attended. See, the last program he attended is Mahasada Shivoham, December 2017, just about 2 years ago. Okay. And after Mahasada Shivoham, Swamiji fundamentally awakened some of my son's past birth biomemory. That means the biomemory that he had acquired in his past birth. So one of the biomemory that he came down with is knowing the science of food as medicine, the Ayurveda dimension of food as medicine, which is pretty much a science which has been lost after the whole, dilution, Mahabharata. So many things got burned, and a lot of those science were lost. Swamiji gave him that, show him, to address this. Let's say there was a child who he did the healing, and he saw that he has got some persistent cough and flu issue due to a lot of heat in the body. So he prescribed something, just some mint and honey and I think lemon juice or something like that. See, like all these different kind of simple herbs that we take on a daily basis, and able to give guidance to just help to balance the body without having to go to allopathy for drugs, and which can cause quite other kind of disturbances. So I was like surprised that how Swamiji has actually awakened that part of his past biomemory. Understand? It's really fascinating. So, and even recently, when he did once body scanning for a lady in USA, she had some issue with the small intestine, okay? Some digestive issue. And in the scan, it was revealed to him, and then he basically told her, and she fully agreed with what was communicated. And then in that scanning, Swamiji showed that he needs to prepare a special aushada, which is food for her to take, to help to ease that condition. So, I mean, where on earth would I know that my child is capable of that until I see that in action? Understand? So what I'm saying is that you never know when a child is brought in the presence of an enlightened master and an incarnation of Paramashiva. Many possibility opens up. Even those possibilities that he has come down, he gets upgraded in many, many ways. Okay? In many ways that you cannot understand, but by the sheer grace of the Guru, he, always bestow the best for the kid. Okay? So that's one of my experience. I see that he's going to create a whole new healing for humanity. I can't wait for the day where he start downloading all the Ayurvedic, prescription for common ailments and common, diseases that we are facing on planet Earth now. So that will be something I feel really, really exciting. So like this only, your child has got many, many possibilities. If they're able to connect with the Guru, this update of the software, the software get upgraded by the grace of the Guru. And you'll be constantly surprised how, the child start vibrating at a different frequency. Okay? So that's something that I thought I wanted to share with you. When, as a mother, I created the possibility for him to explore, to connect with his passion. And if, with the help of enlightened Guru, it just make it a lot more happening. The whole possibility opens up, which is really, really exciting for him. So that's what I want to share. Now, Natalie share on the chat, say that when I was pregnant or with my youngest kid, I started to learn Rudram chanting and realized that I met Swamiji through a YouTube video where he was speaking about 2012, just before the birth of my child. Yeah, nice. See, when the child starts to get in touch with all these Vedic signs, whether it's Rudram chanting, whether it's, early, during the pregnancy programming, it creates such a different frequency. It's just like molding the kids at a very young age, even before birth. During the process of creation, you're already, see, the mother has at least 20% of possibility to influence the child's intelligence during pregnancy. You have at least 20%. Okay? So if you are able to prepare yourself during the 9 months pregnancy, you will be able to create a powerful womb, a cosmic womb, to attract very, very evolved soul to land through your body. Okay? So that is one science which only in Vedic tradition has been extensively practiced in those days. So it's really, really, even now Swamiji is reviving all these science where, he can even bring kids who are already enlightened. Because today you saw Skandamata, right? Skandamata literally lived in Swamiji's cosmic womb when the mother was pregnant. She was there living in the courtyard. I was there for 3 months, Nithyananda Yoga program, okay? She was there whenever we have session with Swamiji, she'll be sitting there, that time with her big belly and all that. Anything that Swamiji is conducting, anything process that Swamiji is doing with us, she'll also be there. She's like attending, when she's pregnant. So Skandamata already been sort of tuned, programmed when the child's body is just being created. Understand? So it's really, really fascinating. So that's why when her birth is going to be extraordinary, all that we know, right? You can see her energy, you can see, the spark in her eyes. It's literally of a different frequency. She's going to be extraordinary when she starts to become mature, and she will be a great blessing to planet Earth. All right, so now let's look at one aspect from the parent's point of view. See, the way we are conditioned, we a lot of time unconsciously forgot to learn how to hold a space of possibility to the kids, to our child. So that's why we somehow limit their possibility, right? One of the things that actually make us restrict ourselves in holding that space of possibility is failure. Okay? Now, failure has to be understood properly so that you know how to teach kids to handle failure. I can tell you, there are many, many kids in Singapore I've seen, especially those kids who came from branded school. Okay? They've always been given the illusion they are invincible, they're unbeatable, they're always in the top. But when life showed them the first setback, they just collapse. They are not able to handle failure because the parents had never prepared them to handle failure. They never given them the right understanding about failure. Okay? So now let me just go through. If you're stuck in the wrong ideas about failure, you need to complete them so that you know how to impart the right understanding about failure to your child. Because life is constantly going to be, ups and downs. And to be honest with you, failure is only a limitation we impose on ourselves because we did not understand the purpose of failure. Tell you honestly, there's no such thing as failure. It is only a lesson. Okay? Where's that failure? It's just that, lesson you didn't learn, lesson you learn. That's all. If lesson you learn, you will be successful. Lesson you didn't learn, okay, then let me learn this lesson, and then so that I become more intelligent, I become wiser, I accumulate more awareness and wisdom. So in any way, you're going to gain. Where is the failure? There's no question of failure. And to be honest, as a child, they have no idea of failure. They don't know. They don't recognize the idea of failure. For them, they just do. Okay, if like for instance, they fall down, they just get up, do it again. If they something collapse, okay, they just rebuild again. So they don't have any idea of failure. It is only us adults impose the idea of failure. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a completion session for a lady, and she told me that when she was 12 years old, she had to go through the national exam called PSLE, Primary 6 School Leaving Examination, and she didn't do well. Because of she didn't do well, her mom punished her in a very bad way, created a deep guilt in her, and from then on, she was like tortured from that experience because of that failure. She didn't do well, so-called failure, either given by the mom. The mom was literally totally disappointed and almost like sort of there was non-acceptance of the child's performance. And from then on, she vowed that she would try her best, she would do her best, So her decision after this incident was to go and, sort of do whatever she can. It means that created so much stress in her. Okay, that's so much so that she's going through a mental breakdown. Do you understand? Like, she can only have success, no failure, because the incident taught her so badly that she will not get the mother's acceptance if she again fail her. It was really sad. She was stuck in this mentality that she cannot fail, otherwise she will not be loved by her mother. Okay? See, even like, for instance, in martial arts, kids are taught to fall in the first lesson. That's how they learn, you know? And when they fall down, they get up and they learn how to handle, you know? And then that boosts the confidence over time. So fundamentally, if the child do not make it the first time, do not give them the idea of failure and punish them in a way that destroy their possibility, destroy the learner's space, put them in deep incompletion. Understand? Don't create any perversion in them just because of certain incompletion, because of your non-acceptance of what they did. Help them to understand, bring awareness, the lesson that need to be learned, so that you don't create a wound inside them. Whatever things they learn from the lesson, whatever incompletion will just leave their system, and then what they have is just pure intelligence, pure energy for them to live again and again with higher possibility. Understand? This is very important. Do not ever create any idea of failure in them. Don't create a dent inside their pure inner space. Okay? See, our society taught us to only celebrate success. They don't sort of encourage, people who fail, but in a way, see the spirit of will persistent, of ability to stand up again and again for what they believe. That should be celebrated. That should be encouraged. That should be taught to the kids so that they can again and again feel powerful inside, feel life is good. It's a huge possibility. I am a possibility. Even though there's maybe some minor setback, but it is not doomed, done, finished. I can still come back and recreate again and again. As long as the space of possibility is constantly being nurtured, nourished. Because it is that space that gives birth to all new realities. Understand? Do not destroy their space just by your wrong idea about failure. I want to again bring back to the understanding of how the kids' brain get rewired when they are initiated by Swamiji, enlightened masters. See, whenever kids come to Swamiji's breathing space and have a touch from him, whether it's awakening of third eye or awakening of any other initiation that he gives, it's a transmission of biomemory to them, which again creates huge possibility in higher consciousness, where the kids can exist. So, whatever that is hidden in the child, latent, not expressed, start expressing once the Guru touch is given to the being. Understand? So that is the most beautiful thing that can happen for any child to have the fortune to be able to have the initiation by enlightened master. I tell you, this is what I did. The year that I met Swamiji, and I was trying to get my son to meet Swamiji, and I was successful in the first time he met Swamiji in Singapore when he came for a tour. That time he was still traveling in 2009. He he did one day Kalpataru. So I signed him up and I met Swamiji for the first time. After 6 years of listening to his stories from me, bedtime story about Swamiji and all the stories about enlightened masters, about Swamiji's guru and his life and all that. So that in 2009, November, that was the first time he met Swamiji. Then after that, 3 years later, in 2012, I brought him to the first 21-day program with Swamiji. That time, there was no Inner Awakening for Kids. It was just engineers program. So he had, initiation by Swamiji at the age of 9, started. Okay, so if you, as a parent or as a teacher, if you carry certain wrong cognition about failure, please start writing it down and complete with that. Drop it so that we don't carry this, incompletion and pass it down to your child and destroy their space. Okay. Then the next thing I want you guys to also start thinking is, what do you see in your child's talent? Okay. That means, what do you see in your child in terms of the talents? Okay. You may have already started to discover some, talents in your kid, whether it's maybe some are very good in drawing, some are very good in talking, some are very good in being street smart, whatever it may be. Okay. Start discovering that and then guide them to explore. See, as a mother, in the first 9 years of a child's age, you play a very important role to give the confidence and security for the kid to explore. Okay? So in that first 9 years, if you can, when you start relating with the kid, that's why you need to be an involved parent. Don't just work, have accumulation of wealth and status, but do nothing for your kid. Understand? A lot of parents, they enjoy a lot of material wealth, but they don't do much for the kid. So, which is very, very sad if that's the outcome, because by the time the child is old enough, they will not be able to discover. There's someone is unmuted. Let me see, who is that? Yeah, I think YY. Yeah, can you please mute? You are interfering. Yeah. Okay, so yes, Natalie, you can leave now. So right now, I would like to basically conclude about this topic about issue on failure. You need to understand that all failures are just stepping stones for us to move to our higher possibility. Understand? They are just stepping stone. So imagine, the next stone you step on, you think that you're already a big failure, then you're never going to achieve. So they're only stepping stones. So there's any moment, there's no failure. It's just the journey of reaching to your ultimate. So if every moment is a possibility, it is where the maximum shift in the consciousness can happen. Actually, if everything too smooth sailing, too easy, you would take life for granted. You would take everything for granted. So sometimes when you hit with some setbacks or some hard knots, you make you become mature, make the soul mature and make you wiser. So that is actually a good thing, If everything becomes too easy, handed on a silver plate, then you think that, everything is so easy for you. So life will constantly test us. Even Swamiji say, even incarnation get tested. So life will test us. Life will make us go through different lessons. After this lesson is finished, okay, next, you move on to the next lesson so that you continue to expand in your consciousness. So that's what we need to impart to the kids. That life is a continuous expansion. When you expand, you experience life, being alive, being filled with energy and positivity, filled with freshness, energy. When they start to feel bored, when they start to feel not interested in life, that means some kind of virus has already, software bugs have already got into their programming, which make them behave either like an adult or behave like a child which is kind of lost, understand, in life. So with that, I would like to conclude the session. I thank you all for attending. So let me just finish off with the Puna mantra. So just join the palms together. Give ourselves a bow from within in deep gratitude to the grace of Swamiji for making this session possible. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Savam Bhagavad Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Paduka Paramastu. Om Nithyanandam.